Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again and we're going back to OTJ today after our couple of commanders with backgrounds for the last couple of days, because I realised as I was recording those videos, Kellan the Kid had not been looked at by me at all, and I like Kellan the Kid. Kellan's gone a long way. The original Kellan, if you remember, was red-white. Then we went blue-green, and now we've gone blue, white and green. So anyway, Kellan. 3/3 flying lifelink fairy human rogue for green, white and blue. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may cast a permanent spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Obviously in OTJ this is really to make sure that the plot cards work really well, but in Commander we have a lot of cards that get cast from anywhere than our hand, and Kellan seems like a really good way of getting these cards into play and working. So that's what I'm aiming to do with today's deck, and this is what it looks like. The one thing I like about this sort of colour pairing, other creatures you get, and that's where we're going to start. So Birds of Paradise helps us ramp along with Noble Hierarch, because we've got the right colours we need in Bant. Gold Vein Hydra is one of those cards that again I'm going to be playing more and more and more of, as especially in green decks. Well, only in green, but decks that have green in them. It's always going to be something that's got green, isn't it? Anyway, Vigilance, Trample and Haste for a Hydra that comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it, and when it dies you get tapped treasure tokens equal to its power. Another creature that you can play at any point in the curve, and from my point of view is always going to be useful. Doc Orlock, Grizzled Genius, also makes an appearance. There's not much we're having coming in from our graveyard, but we have got a few cards that we can cast from it. We have to pay mana value to cast from exile, and a few more that we have to plot with, so it makes sense having the Doc in this deck. Apocryphite, I think is how we say it, is a weird one. You can basically enter the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it if you didn't cast it from his hand, but when it dies you get to exile and suspend it. Because it goes to a suspend, when you cast it, Kellan gets to put something less from your hand in. Not great, but it does keep triggering Kellan if we needed to for lower end stuff. If you've got this or this in your hand. Chromehost Seed Shark seemed like a bit of a no-brainer, because we'll have lots of spells, one creature spells being cast, and we get to incubate. Green Slime comes in as well from the Battle for Baldur's Gate. Enters the battlefield, counter target activated or triggered ability from an artifact or enchantment source. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent. But you can foretell it for 1 mana. Well, you have to pay the 2 to foretell, but it costs you 1 green to bring it in and counter that thing when you need it to be countered. So yeah, nice one to sit there in the exile zone. Then Tuco Shaman enters the battlefield. We can suspend it. If we control no tapped lands, we get to draw a card. That's nice, and he sits there for 1 turn, but triggers Kellan. Rift Sower does the same thing, a little bit of suspend and mana ramp. Rift Mark Knight gives a protection from blank and flanking, and when the last time counter is removed from the knight while it's removed from the game, put a 2/2 black knight creature token with flanking from protection from white and haste into play. So double creatures, so you get a black one, which is a bit weird because we haven't seen Kellan in black yet, although I'm sure it will be happening. Sheriff of Safe Passage is also here. Does a little bit of plotting, one of the new cards from OTJ. It comes into play with a +1/+1 counter plus an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each other creature we control. So nice one to have sitting there plotted out. Augury Raven does a full tell, comes in as a 3/3 flyer. Benelish Commander sits in suspend land and gives us lots and lots of soldiers as things happen. Cosmos Charger, foretelling cards from our hand, cost 1 less and can be done on any player's turn. So a nice little one from Kaldheim to do the whole foretell bit. Knight of Suracy gives us just a flying flanking suspend 3. So it's for 1 white mana, so nice one to spend on turn 1 if we haven't got 1 drop to do. Ranar the Ever Watchful lets us foretell the first card each turn for 0, and then whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your hand or permanents from the battlefield, you get a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Lots of suspending going on to exile here. Battle Mammoth is probably one of the best things you can foretell from Kaldheim. Because whenever an opponent you control becomes target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you get to draw a card. From there, Lear, Disciple of the Drowned, stops everything being countered and gives us a way of flashing back things from our graveyard, for instance, of sorcery. So the Doc does have a little bit of help when this is in play. Railway Brawler comes in. We can plot it. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to put plus X. X +1/+1 counters, where X is its power, so basically they all double in size. Spinewood's Paladin just gives us the life and is plottable. Stagecoach Security gets to be plotted and gives all our creatures +1/+1 and vigilance, so kind of a helpful smack in the face for someone, maybe. Conclave Siege Captain is just one of the cards I like playing in green at the moment, to be honest, with the triple backup 1 ability, the trample, deal the combat damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on a creature. Seems like a cunning plan to me. Ethereal Valkyrie comes in as well, enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card and exile a card from your hand face down. It becomes full-tailed. Its full-tail cost is later, it is reduced by 2. Like it, really do. Ith High Arcanas, just because I wanted Maze of Ith in the deck and I decided to have it in creature form. Plus it suspends, so triggers Kellan when it comes through. Sage of the Beyond gets to be full-tailed, and then spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 2 less to cast. So yeah, helps with all the full-tail stuff. And Deep Sea Kraken, get to suspend it, and whenever an opponent plays a spell, if Deep Sea Kraken is suspended, remove a time counter from it, and if it's unblockable. I have had this come down on turn 4, 5 before now, so it does work out really nicely and gives people a bit of a headache. Spells wise, we have a lot. I've got a bit brave, so Gaia's Wheels here, so we can play the stuff from our graveyards, from our lands if we want to. That's fine. And then I've been braved and played Hypergenesis because, why wouldn't you? It's a little bit of fun with this deck. Inevitable Betrayal lets us nick something from an opponent's grave library. And Resurgent Belief returns all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. We do have a few coming up, if I remember correctly. Not many, but a few that could help. But it's another suspense spell, so hey-ho. Depart the Realm, foretellable, bounce something, Mystic Reflection, choose target non-legendary creature. Next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. Nice way of shutting down some things if your people are copying big stuff. So, yeah. Nature's Law, Rampant Growth, 3 visits. Sorry, I went through them really quick. You didn't see the pictures. Just do the mana ramp for us. Tumbleweed Rising lets us plot it and have an elemental, so yay. Kaya's Onslaught, +1/+1 and gains double strike until the end turn on a creature, and you can foretell this for 1. Saw It Coming is the traditional counter spell now. That had to be in the deck. Search for Tomorrow does the mana ramp, but it's suspendable, so if you can do this and have Kellan in play when it goes off, you do get to put something that costs 3 or less from your hand into play for free. Behold the Multiverse, draw the cards and scry. Starheim Unleashed gives us a way of doing the let's have loads and loads of angel tokens, should we, and go for that as well as a way of winning. Struggle for Sekfar, I don't know how you say it, so put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights up to one target creature you don't control. It's a nice way of gaining some life with Kellan if you need to, if you're running short. Tales of the Ancestors, each player with fewer cards in their hand than the player with the most cards in their hands. Draw cards equals to the difference, and you get to foretell that as well. I think people forgot about this from Kaldheim Commander Land. Venture Forth, just because I like getting the random lands out of my deck into play. Cyclic Evolution, get to put it +3/+3 on a creature, and then it goes back into spend land again, but it's lovely with Kellan because of the trigger it gives you, because it is 5 mana when it comes into play, and that means you get something with 4 or less into play that's permanent. Doomscar for a bit of board control. Make your own luck. When you look at the top 3 cards of your library, you may exile a non-land card from among them. If you do, it becomes plotted, and put the rest into your hand. Okay then. Step Between the Worlds. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library. Each player who does draws 7 cards. Then we get to exile Step Between the Worlds. Yep, nice way of getting the whole shuffling and the redraw in play. Inspiring Refrain just basically sits there in suspend land. Every so often you'll get to draw 2 cards and put something that costs 6 or less that's permanent from your hand into play for free. Alrons for Epiphany. Same thing, but an extra turn is always good fun when you can get it off. And Heroes Remembered, just gain the extra life. Why not? Might as well have this going, mightn't we? Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it takes 10 turns, but it does happen, and you can go off on it. Ramp-wise, it comes in the artifact form. Lotus Blue, Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talismans of each of the 3 colours we need. And then Ancient Cornucopia, just so I can gain a little bit of life, because yeah, why not? Let's play this one as well from Thunder Junction. There's not many enchantments in the card, but one of them is key, hence why that spell is here. Fungal Plots is lovely, but the one that is key is Kellan Joins Up. We have a few legendary creatures in here, and we do want to pump our creatures up to a silly amount. So Kellan, having this in play, comes in, it's being useful. Plus, it plots a card, which helps even more than you realise. And Nyko Defies Destiny. Yeah, you gain 2 life for each foretell card you own at exile. That's nice. Get a couple of mana, spend this mana only to foretell cards or cast spells that have foretell, and then return target card with foretell from your graveyard to your hand. Still quite a nice enchantment to have in. We have quite a few bits at foretell. Don't forget, it's not instants and sorceries, it's creatures as well. Land wise, blue, white and green lands all the way through. Nothing too fancy. There is the very, Reliquary Towers here, Temple of the False Gods here, but everything else is here that you would expect to see in a Bant deck. And that's it for Kellan the Kid. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think it's probably the last OTJ command I haven't covered that I'm now covering, so we're there, we're done. I'm hoping it all works out. I'm hoping to find time tomorrow to do an MH3 commander that hasn't been covered yet. Keep your eyes out for that, otherwise I'll have to go back to a commander with a background because I have one of them built that I haven't covered yet. So it may be that if I get the time, we'll get an MH3 deck out tomorrow. But if you can, hit the subscribe button down below. 426 as I record this, getting really close to my 500 target by the end of the year. Do you want to see me play Kellan the Kid? There's a link to my Twitch stream down below. The stream will be happening tonight on Wednesday, which I would have told everyone about on Sunday. So yeah, people will be around tonight, but I'll be playing Kellan tonight if you want to come watch me play it and have a laugh. But for now, thanks for watching. See you soon, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Take care. Bye.